Hey everyone, and welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So some Social Security beneficiaries will be receiving not one, but two payments next month in September. We're going to be going over who those people are and why they're going to be sending out two payments again next month in September. Also, yesterday marked the 88th birthday or anniversary for Social Security, and we had one lawmaker calling on Congress to finally vote on his bill, which would increase benefits for all beneficiaries, some by as much as $485 per month. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Okay, so yesterday marked the 88th anniversary of Social Security. This program has come a long way. Of course, in just 9 or 10 years from now, it could potentially be the biggest downfall of Social Security, which would be an across-the-board cut of anywhere between 20 to 25%. So let's hope that our lawmakers in Washington can finally get their act together and pass some sort of Social Security reform to keep the program solvent. That way we're able to continue to pay out 100% of the benefits as we always have been able to. So according to The Hill, the best birthday present for Social Security increased its benefits. So on August 14th, 1935, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Social Security into law. 88 years later, our Social Security system is among the most successful and popular government programs in history. Nearly every worker pays premiums for Social Security. In return, they receive insurance benefits when they retire, become disabled, or lose a family breadwinner. Social Security is secure, efficient, and the most important source of retirement income for the vast majority of Americans. Social Security does have one major flaw, though: its benefits are too low. The average Social Security benefit is only $1,700 a month, considerably lower than in peer nations. That is not enough for working families to enjoy a secure retirement or make ends meet when tragedy strikes in the form of serious and permanent disabilities or death. It's not surprising that our nation is facing a retirement income crisis. Too many Americans fear that they must work until they die because they will not be able to retire without a drastic decline in their standard of living. The solution is to expand Social Security. Fortunately, President Biden ran on a promise to expand Social Security, and congressional Democrats have introduced multiple bills to do so. One of these is the Social Security 2100 Act, which is sponsored by Representative John Larson and co-sponsored by more than 175 of his fellow House Democrats. Another is the Social Security Expansion Act, which is sponsored by Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. So again, $1,700 on average per month is simply not enough to get by. In many cities, the rent for just like an apartment or a house is going to be at least $1,700 or more. So for $1,700 to be the average, again, that is simply not enough to get by. And yes, we do have some different proposals made by different lawmakers in Washington. So we had the proposal by John Larson, which would increase benefits across the board for all beneficiaries by 2%. And then for those receiving the special minimum benefit, they would receive a boost by as much as $485, which would put them at 25% above the federal poverty line. So Larson was actually at an event, a national town hall, celebrating the 88th anniversary of Social Security. And there at that town hall meeting, he was actually saying how important it is for Congress to finally at least vote on his bill, which would raise Social Security payments across the board. So let's roll the clip.
We have a very specific plan that's detailed out to meet the immediate needs of the people that are currently receiving Social Security and future generations as well. The time has come for Congress to vote. And so we're asking everybody in blue states and in red states and whatever state of mind you happen to be in, to make sure that you're calling and prevailing upon your member of Congress to vote. We believe that 52 years is way too long to wait to enhance a program. Nobody gets wealthy on Social Security. This is subsistence income that people desperately need in this time of inflation. And not having improved the program in 52 years can no longer be tolerated. Let's stop the BS and start talking about getting a vote on Social Security 2100 in both chambers. Senator Blumenthal is dedicated to that. We're dedicated to it in the House of Representatives. And you know what, frankly, if the Republicans have a better plan, or any plan for that matter, put it out there. We still have an amendment process that works, but for God's sake, let's have a vote for the American people so they get to see where their elected officials stand. We know where people who are committed to the program stand. Where do our members of Congress stand? The only way that we can know that is by exercising the vote. If they won't vote in committee, we'll work on getting a discharge petition and making sure that every citizen in this country knows about it and starts prevailing upon Congress to do the right thing and vote. That's what you get elected to office for, to cast a vote on behalf of the people you're sworn to serve. The number one anti-poverty program for the elderly, the number one anti-poverty program for children in this time of COVID and inflationary crisis that has hit the elderly the hardest. That's why we need the urgency of a vote, and we need to vote now.
So I'm in complete agreement with Larson there. The least they could really do is to, at least vote on the bill. Let lawmakers write down and be on paper whether or not they support an across-the-board Social Security increase. Now, a lot of Republicans would more than likely vote no, and this bill would not be able to pass the House, simply because they would be increasing taxes, and Republicans are very against increasing taxes on Americans. So more than likely the vote would fail. But one thing we have to remember here is there were 2 years from 2021 through 2022 where the Democratic Party had control of the House, they had control of the Senate, and then of course they had Joe Biden, also a Democrat, in the White House. They could have very easily at least passed this bill through the House. They had a pretty good majority in the House of Representatives where they could have easily passed this bill with all Democratic support. And sure, they probably would not have had enough support to get the 60 votes they would have needed in the Senate, but at least they could have passed the bill in the House and been like, hey, Democrats support increasing Social Security benefits. But the House Speaker at the time, and Nancy Pelosi, chose to not even put the bill on the floor for a vote, so they had 2 years to vote on this bill, and they never did. So clearly, it's hard to see either party really all that serious about passing this bill or any bill to increase Social Security benefits, because again, Democrats had a chance to do it in the last 2 years. Republicans have a chance to do it now, but neither party is more than likely ever going to vote on this bill, which, is pretty unfortunate, at least in my opinion. But in some other news, next month in September, certain Social Security beneficiaries are going to be receiving not one, but 2 payments, and this is why. So next month in September, SSI beneficiaries are going to be receiving their usual payment on the 1st of the month. That is going to be on September 1st, which happens to be a Friday. And then at the very end of the month, the last Friday of the month, on September 29th, they're going to be receiving yet another payment. So this is why SSI recipients are going to be receiving 2 payments next month. So usually they'll be receiving a payment on the 1st of every month. So you would think October 1st would actually be a payment, but instead they're not going to be receiving any payments on October 1st. That is because October 1st is going to be falling on a Sunday. And anytime the 1st of a month falls on a Saturday, a Sunday, or a holiday, they end up receiving it the previous business day. So in this case, September 29th is a Friday, so they're going to be receiving their October payment on September 29th. And so the September 29th payment is technically just their October payment coming a little bit earlier. And because of that, once again, there aren't going to be any payments going out in October for SSI recipients. So we're going to be getting 2 payments in the month of September. Again, it's going to be coming on September 1st and then on September 29th. And then the next payment after September 29th isn't going to come all the way until November 1st. And then once again in December, there are going to be 2 payments once again, just like last year. So it's going to be coming on December 1st and then also on December 29th. And again, the December 29th payment is going to be a little bit higher because of the cost of living adjustment. It's more than likely going to be right around 3% higher. And then the December 29th payment is simply going to be the January 2024 payment. And in January of 2024, there aren't going to be any payments going out at all, and the next payment after that is going to be coming on February 1st. But that's all the news that we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give this video a like, consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.